You have come to the right place, and welcome to my review of the ASUS ROG Strix XG27AQM. Let's get right into it. This is the fifth monitor I'll be reviewing in my series of 2K 240Hz monitor reviews. So buckle up, get comfy, grab some popcorn, and debate with yourself whether or not you want to spend almost $1,000 on a gaming monitor. Also, I'm putting buy links in my description now, so if you want to snag one of these babies, go check it out down below. As usual, I am not a monitor expert, nor do I claim to be a monitor expert. I am just a guy that likes to do review videos on stuff I enjoy talking about. So I won't be diving into any hardcore numbers, trying to crack the Da Vinci Code, nothing of the sort. More or less, this will be from a consumer's perspective. And also understand that I will be comparing this monitor to the Acer Predator XB27AQM GX, simply because it feels right, because they're both very close in specs. And I've also been getting a lot of questions like, which one should I get, the GX or this ROG Strix? And I will be getting to that later on. So I like the pros and cons layout of my last review of the ASUS. So I'm going to be doing that again this time, pros and cons. But since I started with cons last time, I got to go with pros first this time. So first up in the pros segment here, we have looks and features. So first things first, we got to talk about how this monitor actually looks before we discuss how it performs. So this is easily the second coolest looking monitor I've tested out, just behind the ASUS FI27Q-X. Now I like the various etchings and design details that cover the body of the monitor. It's a very cool looking thing, as well as the lighting effects that you get on here. Now you have a choice of 5 different lighting sequences, 3 of which have 6 different colors to choose from to personalize your look. Or you can just turn on rainbow mode or cycle color mode in order to get all 6 at once. Then you also have the choice of activating Aura Sync, which is a lighting feature that allows you to basically configure your lights however you want. And that's just something you don't see with many monitors these days. But this one comes with that. That's a pretty sweet feature. Now another great feature, one that you all know by now that I cannot live without, I will die if I don't have this on my monitor, is a cable organization hole in the stand of the monitor. So back when I reviewed the Alienware 2721D, one of my biggest gripes with it was that the cable management hole was the size of a coin slot. You could like barely fit a single cable through it. This one though, there's no problems with that. You can fit as many cables through it as you want. It's absolutely perfect. So that is a win in my book. Another great thing about this monitor is that while the stand is decently chunky, the actual legs don't take up much desk space. The legs come just to the edge of the panel, leaving you tons of workspace. Another thing I gotta mention is just how awesome this anti-glare coating is. On most monitors, it's either way too heavy-handed or not heavy enough. This one, it is heavy, but it's not obstructive to the screen. It actually is barely noticeable. The anti-glare on this thing is really good. And if I'm being honest, it's probably the best anti-glare I've seen on a monitor to date. Okay, one more thing to bring up here in the looks and features section is the IPS glow and the IPS bleed situation on this bad boy. Here's a picture of the glow, and as you can see, it's really not bad. The glow on here is pretty comparable to any other monitor I've tried out, and thankfully, which I'm grateful for, there is no backlight bleed on my panel, so and not once has the glow been an issue to me. Okay, so now that we've covered the pros of the looks and features, let's hop into the pros of the performance and visuals of this panel. Now, how does this panel perform visually? Well, I figured that I'd try my hand at capturing my own UFO ghosting test results and then share them with you guys. I think it's important to go up and down the refresh range and go through the various overdrive settings just to get a clearer picture of how this baby actually performs. So that's just what I did. Now, one thing to mention before we get started here is that all overdrive levels were recorded in 1080p 60 FPS, and the monitor was not overclocked when I did these overdrive tests. Now I've marked each result according to the applied overdrive level in the bottom left corner, so you can see exactly what my settings were. So here's overdrive level 1. Here's overdrive level 2. Here's overdrive level 3. Here's overdrive level 4. And here's overdrive level 5. The UFOs only started showing noticeable overshoot on overdrive level 5, and overclocking the monitor surprisingly has no effect on overshoot as far as I can tell, which is a big plus. Now I also did go down the refresh range with the different hertz, and that was pretty interesting, and that actually showed me how versatile this monitor really is. So as you can see, there's no overshoot or ghosting to be seen anywhere due to any of the refresh rates that I set. And of course, all of this was a bit clearer to see with my own eyes, in person, but the pictures do it relative justice. Now, this all applies to gaming as well, so only overdrive level 5 should cause you any overshoot. Overclocking should have no effect whatsoever. When it's all said and done, this is one of the smoothest displays I've ever seen, and it's most certainly on par with the GX and the Nitro, if not even smoother. And although there is no proper G-Sync module built into this ROG Strix, few people would be able to even tell that. Games come through incredibly clearly. It's definitely up to snuff with the GX, if not the clearest I've ever seen. Display HDR 400 is also a thing of beauty on this monitor, and despite what some of the monitor gurus out there may suggest, I love it. I love Display HDR 400. I'm coming out and I'm saying it. Okay, and then there's the extreme low motion blur that this panel comes equipped with, which only adds to the smoothness of the whole experience. I'd say it's quite comparable to the GX's ultra low motion blur, as I actually can't see much difference between the two when playing high FPS games that require lots of motion. I would say that they nailed it with the ELMB. It creates about as smooth of a gaming experience as I think anybody could hope for. Another thing to mention here is the settings this monitor comes with are just right, at least for me personally. There aren't too many, there aren't too few, and all of it is inside of this comprehensible and compact OSD menu. Alright, and so to finish off our pro segment here, let's discuss the color on this monitor. The colors are quite good, and they do come with a variety of options. And now while the colors aren't as stand out as the other monitors I've tried, they're plenty good enough to give you a great immersive experience. Dark colors especially look fantastic, and I do still prefer the GX's colors to this monitor, but let me tell you, like when you get this thing configured just right, the colors here still pop. Okay, now we have made it to the cons here. Let's talk about what's not so hot about this monitor's looks and features. A few small things to start. This monitor is missing a few features that most other monitors actually do come with. This monitor has no speakers, and that was something that surprised me. Now, monitor speakers usually aren't very good anyway, but I know that I use them from time to time still. Another thing it's missing is a USB-C port, and it's also missing a headphone hook, both of which aren't a big deal, but they can come in handy. And then of course there's the weight of this monitor. It's pretty darn heavy, and it's not too easy to move or adjust for that matter. You have to push the screen pretty hard to get it to adjust, get it to tilt, and even to get it to swivel. So another thing to note is that the monitor cannot tilt to the left side. It can only tilt to the right side. So that makes it a little less versatile maneuver-wise compared to the GX. Okay, so now let's hop into the cons of performance and visuals when it comes to this monitor. As we've already discussed, overdrive level 5 causes noticeable overshoot. That is an issue. And while overclocking does not cause any overshoot or ghosting, as far as I can tell anyway, overclocking does cause screen flickering. So much so to where this monitor actually warns you when you turn it on that overclocking can cause flickering. And it does. You'll be playing a game with overclocking on and the screen just goes black for about 3 seconds, then it comes back. It's kind of annoying. Alright, let's talk color cons. So when it comes to color, I gotta say sRGB mode looks terrible. It looks really washed out. And when you're in sRGB mode, you can't change anything. Just, it is what it is. It actually locks every other setting that you can change. Now, here in these pictures, you could see the difference between sRGB color and my personal color settings as captured by my phone. The pictures don't do it justice. The difference is even bigger in person. It looks very washed out. Another issue with the colors is that it takes a really good bit of tinkering to get the colors to look just right. At least it did for me. And also the out-of-box colors could be better, although it's decent. Alright, and that's basically all I have to say in terms of pros and cons on this monitor. So all that's left now is my conclusion. My conclusion with this monitor is as follows. It's actually the smoothest display, at least in my eyes, that I've tested yet. It's super buttery smooth, and I love the way that it's laid out with the buttons and the OSD. Gaming is crisp as can be, and I don't think any other monitor with similar specs could perform as well as I've seen this perform game-wise, just overall crispness-wise. So yeah, that's how good this baby is. However, I will also say this. The Acer Predator XB27AQM and the Acer Nitro XV272UX both have better color. Now, I wouldn't say they have better color by a whole lot, but there is a noticeably better richness and density to the color on those monitors than there is with this ROG Strix. So basically everything else though, between this monitor and the other monitors I've tested, is so close that I can't really make any other big distinctions between them. So that means that this monitor has the potential to be the reigning king of 2K 240Hz panels. As surprised as I am to say that, I thought the GX would reign as king, but this has got me questioning that. Now, with that being said, you have a choice if you're trying to decide between the GX and this ROG Strix. Do you want supreme crispness by a relatively decent margin, or almost as good crispness with slightly better color? It's your choice, because either way, you're going to get a phenomenal piece of technology, I can assure you of that. Also, if you're wondering about this panel versus the Alienware 2721D, I'd say roll with this one. It basically beats it out in every aspect as far as I'm concerned. And that about wraps it up for this review, except how about we review people's reviews? Welcome to Reviewing People's Reviews, where I read people's reviews and review them myself. So I'm on microcenter.com. There are only 7 reviews, so it should be a pretty quick segment. 5 stars out of 5 stars. Grew tired waiting for the XG27AQM. Got the next best thing. Honestly, same here. I was waiting for that to drop for months, and it's still not out. So I'm like, all right, let me go with this one. Jeremy D says, own the VG27AQ prior to this, and while it's a great monitor, this one is on a whole other level. It's still an IPS panel, but the color/contrast seems superior to the VG27AQ. Minimal RGB and gamer aesthetic. I beg to differ. I think if you want to go as ungamer as possible, go with the Acer Nitro. This one's pretty gamer, at least in my opinion. Minimal RGB I do agree with though. It's kind of only one patch on the back that has the RGB 240Hz plus fast with minimal overshoot/undershoot using overdrive. That's exactly what I said, yeah. And optional backlight strobing for motion clarity. Yep, exactly. HDR from an 8-bit panel if you really want it. sRGB is overrated for normal use, but nice that it has the option for professional work. Calibrated, this monitor is fantastic. I mean, my thoughts exactly. Once you get it calibrated, the colors do look great, but sRGB is garbage on here. It's terrible. So Jeremy D, I'd give you 5 stars out of 5 stars. Hugo O, 5 stars out of 5 stars again. The best monitor ever. This monitor is exactly what I was looking for in a 1440p monitor. With a 240Hz native refresh rate, it can reach Incredibles 270Hz in overclock mode. Yep, works perfectly with my Strix 3080, and I can hit around 190 FPS in Warzone using competitive settings. This is a beast, absolutely. I don't play Warzone, but I'll take your word for it, that's pretty impressive. I'll give you 4 out of 5 stars, Hugo. Brad F, 5 stars out of 5 stars yet again. Amazing high refresh rate 1440p monitor. This monitor is the one to get for now. I'd agree. I'd probably say this or the GX. I mean, they're kind of tied in my eyes. So he continues, I've tried cheaper Gigabyte, Samsung G7, and LG monitor. Of all the monitors I've tried, this is by far the best visual and motion clarity. It's good to know. That'd be my guess that it would be. I'll be happy to use this one for another 3 to 4 years until OLED or micro OLED monitors are a thing. Micro Center is the only place I've found this model in stock. Cheers, and good luck getting one. Yeah, it actually, just the other week, it came in stock on Amazon and Newegg. Kind of both at once. Out of the blue. Okay, Brad, I'll give you 4 out of 5 stars for that one. I agree. OLED monitors will be sweet. Andrew C. 5 out of 5 stars. Buy it if you can. Picked mine up a week and a half ago in Cambridge, MA, Massachusetts. Best monitor used. I tried the HP Omen 240Hz monitor a year ago and couldn't deal with the screen being so fuzzy. They used a layer of something that washed out the screen, so I stuck with my ASUS 2K 170Hz monitor. That's exactly what I heard about the Omen, because I was going to get the Omen, but all the reviews I was reading said it looked like Vaseline was smeared on the screen, because the anti-glare was crap. That's not a problem with this one. Anti-glare is great, works great, looks great. Alright, got it with 1 dead pixel, but the monitor was great. When I seen Micro Center had this in stock, I had to get it. No backlight bleeding or stuck/dead pixels. This monitor is insane, paired with my Strix 3080. Yeah, I bet. I mean, I'm still sporting the 1060, and it looks plenty great to me, so 3080 would make it look amazing. 5 out of 5 stars, Andrew. Oh snap, we got an ASUS Answers here. First time I've seen that. 3 out of 5 stars. Dead pixel, Kevin C. My monitor came with a dead pixel. I don't like how brightness is locked in sRGB mode. Okay, Kevin. Gonna have to ask you to calm down. ASUS Answers, dear valued customer. It's unfortunate to hear that the monitor came with a dead pixel. Oh no. It's not like 90% due. All ASUS products undergo intensive quality control testing and inspections. What you've experienced was not intentional, and this was a random case, of course. Usually, you can return for replacements. If you have any concerns, feel free to reach out to me at customerloyalty@asus.com, yada yada yada. I'll do my best to provide a quick resolution to your case. Feedback is important. Blah blah blah. Yeah, I mean that's about the best you could reply with. Like, dude, this was not intentional. This happens. It's randomized. It's actually very common to get a dead pixel. I got a stuck pixel in mine, but I'm not crying. Yeah, I'll give you 0 out of 5 stars. Sorry, Kevin. All right, 5 out of 5 stars from Andrew M. Endgame 2. I, like Adam, tried a few 1440p 240Hz monitors before, namely the GXA. That's my personal, which uses the same AU optronics panel as this ASUS. Really? I didn't know that. The quality control is definitely there for the ASUS, as I had next to no backlight bleed or IPS glow like Adam found, as well as no stuck pixels, which I had 2 of them with the Acer. That's unfortunate. And yeah, I agree. The quality control, fabulous. As far as I can tell, people who have gotten this just love it. Except for that one guy with 1 dead pixel. From the packaging to the materials and construction of the monitor, I really feel as though you're getting more for the same price with ASUS. I totally agree. This monitor is truly special, with a 270Hz overclock coupled with overdrive 4 and G-Sync disabled if you can push those frame rates. It's just lightning fast response time. Totally agree. Man, this is such a smooth monitor. My only real complaint with it is that the sRGB mode, the brightness is locked around 150 nits. Yeah, it's dark, it's muddled, it's terrible. This is a little disappointing, but the color accuracy in this mode is absolutely spot on, so I can't complain too much. I mean, if you say so, it's just so washed out to me. It's like lifeless. So I don't know if it's just my panel or what, the way it's calibrated on my specific panel, or I don't know. It looks terrible to me. But okay, to each their own. Great job, ASUS. Finally feel like I found a worthy monitor paired with my 3080 Ti. That is a 5 out of 5 star review right there, Andrew. Nicely done. Final review, Adam A, 5 out of 5 Endgame. After trying the following monitors, I'm not going to read all those, but he mentions the GX and the Alienware, both of which I've tried. This one takes the cake by a long shot. I wouldn't say by a long shot for me, but I definitely think it is now the king. I think it's the king, if not tied with the GX. Super clear display with excellent colors. I must have hit the panel lottery because my model suffers from little to no backlight bleed. Same here. It's pretty great. And I also noticed close to no overshoot at the higher OD settings. Yeah? Same here, except for 5. That's it. If you go to 4, it'll be just fine. Comparing it to both 1440p 240Hz IPS that I previously used, this one has the best motion clarity and responsiveness. I absolutely agree. I mean, he worded it pretty well there. Do not hesitate to pick one up. 5 out of 5. Gotta give you a 5 out of 5, Adam A. Alright, well there you have it. Reviewing people's reviews. Thanks for sticking around through this whole review and watching me review people's reviews in this review. If you have any constructive criticism, drop it in the comments below. Any monitors you want me to check out in the future. Any coming up later this year that I should know about, keep my eyes on, let me know. Any questions about the monitor, I'll do my best to answer. Unfortunately, this will probably be my last video for a while. I'm going to be very busy here shortly, soon-ish, but I cannot promise anything, so don't keep your hopes up, but I will be uploading in the future, at a future time, so just not quite sure when yet. Tech to expect, we'll have to take a hiatus, unfortunately. You've come to the right place, and you are now leaving the right place. Stay safe out there, guys.